is Johnny from CaptureWellbeing.com, and today I'd like to talk about becoming aware of unconscious habits. This is an important topic because we all have things that we kind of just automatically do, but yet they don't always, serve us in a way that it takes us in the direction in life that we want to go in, We have a lot of things that kind of just happen, We might have fears, for example, that we become fearful, for example, speaking in public. We can have a fear of heights, that we automatically just have a fear response, And the same thing can be said about, maybe every morning you eat a certain type of food just out of habit. You don't even notice, oh yeah, I'm having the sugar every morning, like I'm buying candy and I'm kind of addicted to it, Let's say that can be the case. And it's good to, step by step, recognize what these things are that trigger a kind of automatic response in you, Let's say you're addicted to sugar. If you don't get sugar, what happens? You start to get frustrated, you start to feel, a certain kind of restlessness, like, oh, I need my sugar. And if you don't get your sugar, then you feel like something is missing. You're so accustomed to having that dose of sugar every morning, for example. And a life of complete, freedom, in my opinion, is a life of living a conscious life, that you're aware of all the things you do every day, and also, choosing whether you want to have a certain habit or not. So the things and habits don't control you, but you choose consciously what you want in your life. And that is a pretty high level of kind of spiritual mastery, I must say. It's not easy to get to that point, but we all have to start somewhere, right? There has to be a way to get to a point where, I choose, whether I need this cup of coffee right now or not. And not like, oh no, if I don't get my caffeine, I'm gonna, feel like my whole day is messed up. It's understandable. We all have these little things like addictions and cravings and, for example, also fears and emotions that come up in certain situations that just happen automatically because we're conditioned in this way. And for example, if you look at your childhood, there might have been some situation where you reacted very strongly in some situation, and now that emotion is very dominant in similar situations. Let's say you're afraid of, like the opposite sex, for example, like you always get jammed up, or then probably in your childhood you had some bad experience, or you have some belief that's blocking you from feeling free. Just in a random example, but it's very important to start, really looking at these things and training yourself to be more free from these things, that you don't automatically just have a reaction and then it's like flight or fight, so to speak. But you're able to, okay, I feel this, or I crave for this, and you notice it, and then you think to yourself, maybe I can do something about this now, maybe I can, choose a new kind of response, and then start implementing this new response. So let's say you want to get rid of a sugar addiction. What would you do in that situation? First of all, you'd, take something instead of that sugar. Like let's say a fresh juice, like an orange juice. You take a bottle of orange juice every time you feel the craving for a bag of candy. Then you rewire your brain to, instead of wanting that sugar all the time, to go for the more healthier option, that it wants that vitamin bomb of that from that juice, And because if you don't put anything instead of the old habit won't go away. The craving will be there for the sugar. You have to always implement the old habit with a new one. That's kind of the rule of thumb. You can also use this for changing an emotional response. Let's say you have a fear of speaking in public. What can you do to overcome that? You can first of all use affirmations. that you affirm to yourself in front of a mirror or in some other way, but in a very powerful way. You state what you want instead of what you don't want, you know, because your mind is kind of fixed in its way and it has a program that's running. When you stand up in front of people, there's a fear response. So to tackle that, you state, what do you want? I speak with confidence. I dominate the situation. I'm an amazing public speaker, for example. And secondly, use hypnosis. Use hypnosis to rewire your brain. Your mind goes into a deep state of relaxation, and when you have a tape that rewires these old patterns, then the old starts to fade away and then a new program comes instead, a new subconscious program. And thirdly, what you can do in that situation is to expose yourself step by step to the fearful situation. So, like if you're afraid of speaking in public, then you put yourself out there, and the more you repeat it, you just do it even though you feel afraid and afraid and afraid, then your mind will learn that actually it's safe, it's safe, it's safe, you know. And the more you expose yourself, the more quicker you will overcome it, you know. So I recommend these tools for changing unconscious habits. And with this message, I want to encourage you to explore what are your unconscious habits and how would you like to change them. Because we all have, you know, a lot of unconscious things that just kind of take place and kind of in an unaware way, that we're not aware really of all the things that are kind of happening in our life. So it's better to start taking charge of our life and implementing good positive habits and taking away the old things that don't serve us. And life can be, you know, very different after that. It can start to really look a lot better. So with this message, I want to wish you a wonderful day and week, and I'll see you in another video. Take care.